Hi, thanks for joining me again. What I want to talk about briefly in this tape is the importance of following the directions when you receive a casting notice. You might get your casting notice on Actors Access. That's where I get most of mine from. And sometimes my agent will also put together a little packet and they will send detailed information over that might not be included on the Actors Access information. So you need to look at all the information that you get so that you can follow the directions completely, so that the casting person will know this is an actor who listens, he reads, he or she reads, they pay attention, and they follow the directions. Because I was watching a tape also today from a month ago with some casting directors in the Atlanta area, and it was put together by the president of SAG. So it's very informative. You should go to the SAG website and look that up, and you get some good inside tips on what casting directors are looking for. And one of the things they said that really stuck out to me is that how often actors don't follow the instructions on the information they send, as far as labeling the tape, as far as how to have your background, how to have your lighting, how to have good sound. And sometimes they say actors even send in the wrong audition tape, like ones they shot and they made a mistake on and they sent the wrong one, they mislabeled it, or they didn't pay attention when they were uploading. So there are a lot of things that can go wrong when you're doing your submission. And you want to make sure that you're not kicked out of the bunch right away. Because again, I mentioned this earlier, this is a weeding out process also. They want you to have this information. They want you to pay close attention to it because they want to be confident that when they send you to the set, that you are an actor who can listen, who can take direction, who is not argumentative, and will follow directions. So that's one of the important reasons that you really need to pay close attention to all the details that you get on your submission information. I'm going to go through some of it right now. On this last one I got, I received this a day ago, actually, and I already completed the self-tape and I submitted it through Actors Access. But one of the things they said that really stood out to me was that they do not want you to film in front of a green screen. So that could be a myriad of reasons. The green screen could be too bright. It could be too reflective. They want to make sure that everything is uniform when they send it to the producer or the director to look at. They'd rather have you with a subdued background like you see behind me. It can be lighter. It doesn't have to be as dark as the one I have, but they want it to be a plain background. And they specifically called out, do not shoot on a green screen. Or it says here, they will ask you to retape. So they're serious about that. And that's one thing you want to pay close attention to. Another thing they said here, which really stood out to me. Since I've been here in Atlanta, I've received a request for what they call a story. Now, what that is, and they say we want it to be in 30 seconds or less, and we are very serious about 30 seconds or less. They want you to talk about something in your life, something that's related to the role you're reading for maybe, or some kind of story or something. It's basically a little 30-second spot where they can get to know you a little bit. Not reading the lines and, outside of the character. They want to know the real you because it says here they miss being in person with actors. And they were able, sometimes some casting directors like to chit chat a little bit. If some of you haven't been in a live casting session, some of you may have only been to audition on tape and you haven't been in a live casting session. Sometimes the casting directors will get right to it. They'll get right to the point and they'll move right along. Or sometimes they may want to talk a little bit. They may want to find out who you are, what you do, to see your real personality. So that's what this story is about you. So that was something that I wasn't familiar with when I moved out here to Atlanta. So it was a little difficult for me at first, but I started to think about, interesting little tidbits of my life that I could talk about. Because again, it's just them wanting to get to know you. They're not interested in what you think about the character at this point. This is just a little pull behind the curtain to see the real actor, to see the real person there. And that's what they miss about seeing in the casting room. Because that's one little thing I like to say too, is that the whole process starts soon as you walk in that door. And actually sometimes it can start before that because you're in the waiting room. The casting assistant out there works closely with the casting director. And they're friends and they talk about actors in the waiting room, if they're nasty, if they have attitudes, if they don't want to wait. That kind of information is passed on. So you don't need to show up with attitudes. You don't need to show up with, like this is an inconvenience to you or you're above this. I always tell actors, if you don't want to go, Tell them in advance, you know, I can't go to this audition. I'm not right for the role. Tell them, don't just not show up. Let them know, let your agent know, let your manager know. And if you've been contacted directly by the casting director, let them know. So I'm gonna cut this right now, and I will go on to part 2 of this behind the scenes of the casting process in the next video.